Happy 4th of July, everyone, and welcome back to our Simple Abundance Year. We're following along this year with Sarah von Breathnach in her book Simple Abundance, talking about her principles: joy, harmony, beauty, order, simplicity, and gratitude. And I told you yesterday that we were going to be talking about the pursuit of happiness this month. That's what this entry is called. It is July 4th, Getting Real and Personal in the Pursuit of Happiness. There is so much in this entry. And I have a lot to say. I don't know how much I will say about it, but it really is ringing through for me because there's a lot of things that I can relate to. Obviously, our founding fathers put the pursuit of happiness in our independence documents, right? And so we did talk about happiness way back at the beginning of the year in that video, How Happy Are You? I can't remember if she actually said the pursuit of happiness, but we did talk about happiness being a journey and that there were levels of it. And that sometimes you can achieve it, but it's not like you graduate and then you're there forever. And I certainly have my ups and downs, like I've told you. She makes a point about personal happiness being that it hinges on being pragmatic. And being pragmatic means that you are being realistic. And I wanted to be out here where the birds are. Maybe you'd see some. Being pragmatic also ties into being at peace and just that it is what it is, right? We talked about that another time as well. She says being pragmatic is part of personal happiness because it hinges on this practicality. If your reality lives up to your expectations, you're happy. If it doesn't, you're depressed. This is a real, personal, and simple philosophy and psychology, and it makes perfect sense. It of course means too that you have a creative choice to make if we want to be happy. Do we consciously and continually strive for more to accomplish? Or do we lower our expectations to live with what we have and learn to be content? We talked about the pursuit, or what was it, the craving, the hunger for contentment in one of yesterday's entries. What do you guys think about contentment? Do you think that that means that you have to lower your expectations? I'd have to think about that one. I'll go on before I say a couple of other things, but I do think that when you can be content, then it definitely is a time that you're happier when you can be content, right? That's at least been my experience. So she goes on next to talk about the difference between dreams, like being a dreamer, and being one who lives from the ego because of expectation. Hope I don't get pooped on here. I'm right under a little branch, a little perching branch. I think they say that's good luck though, so we'll see. Dreams and expectations are two very different things, she says. Dreams call for a leap of faith, trusting that spirit is holding the net, so that you can continue in the recreation of the world with your energy, soul gifts, and vision. Expectations are the emotional investment that ego makes in a particular outcome. And she goes on to say more in this paragraph that I'm not going to read the whole thing about how when you get really set on how something is going to happen and what it looks like, and then if things don't live up to that, then you can definitely be depressed or not happy at least, right? Since none of us can predict either the future or the best outcome of our authentic path, this kind of thinking is self-destructive. Because if we don't live up to the ego's expectations, we failed again, and at some point we really just want to give up. I don't want to be a huge downer, but I feel like I'm relating to this a lot because that's the way that my life is going right now, and especially with it being a holiday today. Holidays are difficult for me because they are just a reminder about the dysfunction in my family and the fact that I live a very solitary life, which in some ways I like it, but when it comes down to it, it is not really the way that I would choose to live, and it's definitely not my expectation about my life. When I thought about my life earlier in my life, this is not how I thought things would be. And when we first had the shutdowns for the pandemic, it's funny, I sort of felt like this feeling of like, oh, everybody's now mandated to be home and have no life, so I'm just normal now. And then now that things are sort of opening up, even like here in my own community where I live, you know, I'm seeing family members coming over and I'm smelling cookout food, and I'm seeing people leaving and going kayaking with those on the roof of their cars, and I'm just here. In fact, I just woke up from a nap on the couch, which was lovely, and I let myself do that, but I do feel like things are not living up to my expectations. I think I could have unrealistic expectations, but I'm struggling with this pursuit of happiness right now in my life, because it probably is that ego. I'm having trouble with the contentment part of accepting some things. I was thinking about this earlier as I prepared to talk to you guys too. And I think what I've noticed about getting older is that when I was younger, I didn't have experiences to tell me to not try something. But now that I'm older and I've tried a lot of things, or even maybe the same thing and tried it in 10 different ways and it didn't work, that's depressing. It is about that hope that I said yesterday. Like, I'd like to have hope, but it's hard to have hope when you've had a lot of experiences that lead you to not have that hope anymore, like you did when you were younger. So that's one thing I'm feeling about getting older, and I don't like that. And there's a lot of things right now in my life that I wish were different. My family is so dysfunctional, so even if it wasn't a pandemic, I wouldn't be with them today. We can't even be in the same room with each other. It's just not a good situation. And I don't have a significant other, and I very much want that, and I love somebody in particular, and I'm very much caught up in the idea of that and wanting that to work out. And then I feel like even with my body, I can't change some things about my body that I want to change. And I don't even know what's going on with my future in terms of where I'm going to be living in 6 months and how I'm going to be making money. So I'm in probably a unique situation. I don't know that all those things happen at the same time to somebody in the same year, but it's that Maslow's hierarchy of needs that they say, you know, you need to have those things fulfilled before you can be adjusted. So I'm struggling. I'm definitely struggling, but I'm trying every day to get up and look for the joy, and I do my gratitude at night. But I have lost hope about some things changing. So I really get what Sarah's saying here. But I know that I'm happier in that. Maybe it's oblivious dreamer sort of life, and I'm sort of detached from that right now. I'm being very realistic right now, which is unlike me. Normally I'm just happier. I mentioned that journal that I have where I can just write my little stories like the way I wish they would happen, and I'm much happier there. So maybe that's something I need to do this afternoon, is just get that journal out and write something in it, because right now I'm just very focused on the reality of it, and I'm having trouble being pragmatic because I'm not content with a lot of it. Maybe you guys can relate. Again, I don't want to be a downer, but this is just me. I'm sorry, some days I come on the channel and I'm like, yes, I'm blooming, everything's great. And I do feel like that some of the time, but today I'm in the other pursuit of happiness mind frame where I'm trying to get there. The passionate pursuit of dreams sets your soul soaring. Expectations that measure the dream's success tie stones around your soul. I don't think we just should lower our expectations, Sarah says. I believe if we truly want to live a joyous and adventurous life, we should relinquish them. Living your life as a dreamer and not as an expector is a personal declaration of independence. So maybe I need to just declare today that I'm a dreamer and go back to living that way, because I've been happier in that way in the past. You're able to pursue happiness more directly when you don't get caught up in the delivery of the details. Yes. Dreaming, not expecting, allows spirit to step in and surprise you with connection, completion, consummation, celebration. You dream, then you show up for the work, then spirit delivers your dream to the world. There was a lot in that. I want to read one of the sentences again. The pursuit of dreams sets your soul soaring. No, the passionate pursuit of dreams sets your soul soaring. But then expectations that measure the dream's success tie stones around your soul. So dreaming is limitless. But then when you get those expectations of how the dream is supposed to come, then that's tying rocks around your soul. Wow, I really need to think about all of this. Where are you on the pursuit of happiness? I'm glad I have the book, like I said yesterday. And I think it's interesting, I even had said a few things in yesterday's video that really I hadn't read this one yet, and I don't remember it from reading it before. So she may have rewritten it from the last book version, but it was interesting. I said a few of the things ahead of time as far as like when you want something and you may not have faith, or I didn't say this yesterday, but yeah, that expectation thing about what you want, you have to let go of that. I've seen a lot of videos and coaches talking about how you really want to get in touch with the feeling of things, and I said that in another video too, where instead of thinking about like these are the list of parameters of something that I want, thinking about how you want to feel, like in that relationship or in that job, or I don't know, with my family, I was going to say in your family, but maybe my family situation will change, I don't know. I'm assuming I'm not the only one dealing with a lot of things right now and wishing that other things were different and that I had a bit more control, but hopefully this reminds you that it is a pursuit of happiness and that dreaming is really the way to go, and letting go of those expectations around it. I hope that you're connecting with your dreams. I think I'm going to go and do that right now after I hit the stop button and have some dreaming time, because I really haven't done that lately, so that would be a good thing to do, and that would be me declaring my independence from expectations. I like that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you for the likes and subscribes, and love to you all. Bye-bye.